Dad, why can't you see me anymore? When 8-year-old Gavin asked this, nobody knew his father, Richard Montgomery, was only pretending to be blind, to test whether his fiancée truly loved him or only wanted his millions. But the truth he uncovers destroys everything. A cold-hearted woman, a framed innocent maid, kidnapping, a deadly revenge plan. Watch till the end. You won't believe what his fiancée was capable of when her true hunger came to light. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Richard Montgomery woke up that morning with a weight in his chest that felt heavier than the Texas heat pressing against his window. Something inside him had been whispering, warning, pushing for months. A question he could no longer ignore. Did Vanessa really love him, or was she only in love with the Montgomery fortune? The sprawling Montgomery ranch stretched for miles outside his bedroom window, thousands of acres of fertile Texas land. Cattle barns, quarter horses, and soy fields built over 3 generations. Richard, now 43 and widowed for 5 years, had spent his whole life protecting this legacy. Yet somehow, the thing he worried most about losing was not the ranch, but his son. "Dad?" A soft voice called. Richard turned to see Gavin, his 8-year-old son, rolling into the room in his wheelchair. The boy held up a drawing with both hands, his wide blue eyes, so much like his late mother's, full of hope. Gavin had lost his ability to walk in the same car accident that took his mother, Helena, when he was just 3. Every time Richard looked at him, it hurt and healed him at the same time. "What did you draw today, champ?" Richard asked, kneeling beside him. "A horse," Gavin said shyly. "Like thunder. Are you gonna ride him today?" Richard swallowed hard. He didn't like lying to his son, but today, everything depended on it. "Yeah," he said. "After breakfast." Right on cue, Vanessa appeared in the doorway, flawless as always. Straight blonde hair perfectly curled at the ends, crisp white linen dress hugging her frame, expensive heels clicking against the wooden floor. She was beautiful, no denying that. But there was something in her eyes Richard could never quite read. "Richard, your coffee's getting cold," she said sharply, then shifted her gaze to Gavin. "And you, honey, shouldn't you be doing your lessons?" Gavin lowered his head. "Sorry." Richard kissed the boy's forehead. "No need to apologize. Go study, bud. We'll play later." As Gavin rolled away, Richard watched Vanessa. She didn't even glance at the boy. Not a smile, not a gentle word. Nothing. And that told him everything. During breakfast, Vanessa rambled excitedly about the engagement party she wanted. Caterers from Dallas, a string quartet, invitations for half the state. But Richard wasn't listening. His mind was locked on the plan. After breakfast, he would saddle Thunder, his favorite horse. He would ride out alone. And he would fall. On purpose. He would come back pretending he couldn't see. A risky plan, even foolish. But necessary. He needed to know the truth before handing this woman his fortune. Or worse, letting her become stepmother to Gavin. 2 hours later, a scream tore through the ranch. "Mr. Montgomery fell. Somebody call the doctor." Ranch hands rushed toward the fence line, where Richard lay in the dirt holding his head, Thunder pacing nervously nearby. Vanessa came running, her heels sinking into the soil. "Richard, oh my God, talk to me. Are you okay?" He groaned, keeping his eyes shut. "My head. I can't see anything." "Vanessa, everything's dark." Her panic sounded real. Or maybe she was just a very good actress. In the ranch infirmary, Dr. Harris, a longtime family friend and the only person Richard trusted with the truth, examined him while employees gathered outside. "It's a severe concussion," Dr. Harris announced. "Vision loss may be temporary or permanent. Only time will tell." "Permanent," Vanessa gasped, but Richard heard it clearly. Her voice didn't break with fear. It sharpened with calculation. "We'll need extra help," she said quickly. "Someone to care for Richard full-time. And for the boy, too. I can't do everything myself." Gavin wheeled into the room, clutching the doorway. "I can help, Dad." "You can barely care for yourself," Vanessa snapped coldly. "Let the adults handle things." Richard clenched his fists beneath the blanket. He wanted to rip off the bandages and shield his son. But not yet. He needed to see exactly how far Vanessa would go. 3 days later, new help arrived at the Montgomery ranch. Her name was Sophia Reyes, 27, slender, with hardworking hands and warm brown eyes. She had come from a small town in Oklahoma, struggling to support her sick mother by cleaning houses. When she saw Richard's job posting offering room and board, she didn't think twice. Vanessa greeted her with a cold up-and-down stare. "You must be the new employee," she said without offering a handshake. "Sophia, right?" "Yes, ma'am. Sophia Reyes. Nice to meet you. Your job is simple. Clean the house, prepare light meals, and if necessary, assist with the boy. Gavin, the son of the boss, is in a wheelchair. Make sure he doesn't get hurt or get in the way." The way she said, "get in the way," made something twist inside Sophia, but she nodded politely. Her small room behind the kitchen was simple but clean. After unpacking, she began wiping down the living room when she heard a soft voice. "Hi." She turned to see Gavin in his wheelchair, brown hair messy, eyes sadder than any 8-year-old should be. "Hi, sweetheart," she said warmly. "You must be Gavin. I'm Sophia. You're the new housekeeper?" "I am." She crouched beside him so they were eye level. "How are you doing today?" He shrugged. "My dad can't see me anymore." Sophia's heart broke. "He may not see with his eyes," she said gently, "but I promise he still sees you with his heart." He was quiet, then whispered, "Do you have kids?" Her breath hitched. "I did. A little boy. He passed away." Gavin reached out and touched her arm. "I'm sorry." "Thank you, sweetheart." She smiled softly. "Do you like drawing?" His eyes lit up. "I draw horses. I love horses. You'll show me your drawings later." "Yes." Just then, Vanessa stormed in, face twisted. "Gavin, go to your lessons. Now." "But I." "Now." The boy rolled away quickly, head down. Sophia's jaw tightened, but she stayed silent. "And you," Vanessa hissed, "were hired to clean, not talk. Understood?" "Yes, ma'am." "Good. Take Richard's lunch to his room." Sophia carried the tray upstairs and knocked gently. "Come in," he said. He sat on the bed wearing dark glasses, head tilted as if searching for her. "Lunch is ready, Mr. Montgomery," she said softly. "You're new," he replied. "What's your name?" "Sophia. Sophia Reyes." "Sophia," he repeated, memorizing it. "Where are you from?" "Oklahoma. Just me and my mom now. She's sick, so I came here to work and send money home." Richard listened carefully. Her voice, her sincerity, the honest way she arranged the tray. Something about her felt pure, untouched by greed or ambition. "You met my son?" "Yes. Gavin is a very sweet boy." "He is," Richard said quietly. "He's been through a lot since his mother passed." Sophia nodded. "He just needs love. Kids like him always do." Richard swallowed. She had no idea how right she was. Sophia stepped quietly out of Richard's room, closing the door behind her, unaware that the man behind those dark glasses wasn't blind at all. Richard waited until he heard her footsteps fade before removing the glasses and rubbing his face. 3 days pretending he couldn't see. 3 days listening, watching without being seen, studying every reaction. And Sophia was everything Vanessa wasn't. She was gentle. She cared for Gavin as if he were her own. And she moved around the house with a quiet strength that softened the walls of the ranch itself. By contrast, Vanessa had begun dropping her mask piece by piece. Richard heard her on the phone with friends, complaining loudly. "I don't know how much longer I can take this. Taking care of a blind man? And that poor little crippled boy? God, what a burden." The word crippled made Richard's jaw lock. That's how she saw his son. A burden. But then there was Sophia. One quiet afternoon, Richard sat on the porch pretending to nap in his chair when he heard something he hadn't heard in months. Gavin laughing. He turned slightly, just enough to face the sound without giving himself away. Down in the garden, Sophia sat on the grass with Gavin, weaving bright yellow flowers together. "See, sweetheart," she said gently. "You weave this one over, then tuck this one under. Just like that. It's cool." Gavin giggled. "You're doing great," she beamed. "Now lift your chin there. Perfect." She placed the flowery crown on his head. "You," she declared proudly, "are the king of the garden." Gavin burst into pure, bubbling laughter. Richard felt his throat tighten. He hadn't heard that laugh since Helena died. That night at dinner, the tension was back. Vanessa glared at Gavin as he tried to use his fork, his small hand trembling with nerves. A few crumbs fell on the pristine tablecloth. "Gavin," she sighed dramatically, "must you make a mess every night? Haven't you learned how to eat properly?" "Sorry," he whispered. "He's a child, Vanessa," Richard said, still blind, still playing his role. "A child who needs discipline," she snapped. "If we're going to get married, I won't tolerate this behavior." Richard froze. "Not tolerate what?" His voice became dangerously calm. "My son." Vanessa blinked, caught. No, love, I just mean he needs structure." Gavin's lip trembled. "Dad? Can I go to my room?" "Yes, champ. Go ahead." The boy pushed his wheelchair away, head bowed. The moment he was out of sight, Vanessa sighed loudly. "See? He's too sensitive. Everything makes him cry." Richard squeezed his napkin, fighting the urge to expose his sight right then. Later that night, while Sophia washed dishes, she heard soft sobs coming from Gavin's room. She wiped her hands quickly and hurried down the hallway. "Gavin? Sweetheart, can I come in?" "Yeah," came a muffled voice. She stepped inside and found him curled on the bed, face buried in his pillow. "Oh no, what happened?" she whispered, sitting beside him. "She hates me," Gavin sobbed. "Vanessa hates me." "Don't say that." "It's true," she said. "She said she's gonna send me away when she marries my dad. To some boarding school. Far away." Sophia's blood ran cold. "Your dad knows about this?" "No." She said if I tell him, she'll make him think I'm lying. That I just don't like her. Sophia held his face gently in her palms. "Gavin, listen to me. Your father loves you more than anything. And Vanessa? She doesn't get to decide your future. I won't let anyone hurt you. Okay? Ever." "But you're just the housekeeper," he cried. "You can't stop her." "Yes," Sophia whispered firmly. "I can. I'm here. And I'm not going anywhere." The boy threw his arms around her, sobbing. Sophia held him tightly, tears forming in her own eyes. I wish you were my mom," Gavin whispered. Sophia's heart cracked. "I wish I could be sweetheart," she choked out. "I really do." What neither of them knew was that Richard stood just outside the doorway, frozen in the hallway's shadows. He had followed the sound of his son's crying and arrived just in time to hear everything. Sophia cradling Gavin. Sophia promising protection. Sophia loving him without gain. Without motive, just love. Helena had once held Gavin like that. Helena had once comforted him with that same softness. But Vanessa never had. Not once. Richard slipped back to his room, chest aching. His test was working too well. Now, he wasn't just discovering Vanessa's truth. He was discovering what his heart feared most. He was falling for Sophia. A week passed, and each day revealed more of Vanessa's cruelty. She snapped at Gavin, ignored him entirely, and complained to friends about being stuck with a blind fiancé. But she also noticed something else. Richard was listening more intently whenever Sophia spoke. He sat straighter when she entered the room. He smiled at the sound of her laughter. Jealousy turned Vanessa sharp and dangerous. One morning during breakfast, Vanessa made her move. "Richard," she said sweetly, "since you've been like this, maybe we should move up the wedding, so I have full authority to handle your medical care." "And Gavin's?" Richard kept his acting flawless. "Why the rush?" he asked. "Because you need someone responsible making decisions." "About Gavin too?" he asked calmly. "Of course." She flicked a glance at the boy. He needs discipline, consistency. Sophia, pouring coffee nearby, froze. Excuse me, she said quietly, but what Gavin needs is love. Vanessa's eyes flashed. No one asked your opinion. Get back to the kitchen. Vanessa. Richard's voice sliced through the air. That was uncalled for. Sophia is right. Gavin doesn't need more discipline. He needs compassion. Oh really? Vanessa scoffed. And I suppose that's something she can provide? Richard didn't respond, not verbally. But his silence was answer enough. Minutes later, a loud cry came from outside. Gavin had fallen near the garden steps. His wheelchair had tipped over, and his knees were scraped. Sophia rushed out first. Oh, sweetheart, what happened? I wanted to pick one of the yellow flowers. For you? Gavin whimpered. But I leaned too far. Sophia scooped him into her arms. It's okay. I've got you. Richard blindly followed behind, slow on purpose. Vanessa didn't move. She just crossed her arms. You weren't going to help? Richard asked, still acting. Sophia was halfway inside with Gavin. Why should I? Vanessa said. She's already taking care of it. He's almost your stepson. Almost, she said coldly. But not yet. Richard stood there, fists trembling. He had seen enough. The test was almost over, and Vanessa had failed spectacularly. Sophia spent that night tending to Gavin's scraped knee, gently wiping away the dirt and placing a soft bandage over the tender skin. Richard stood outside the room again, hidden in the hallway, listening to every word, every truth. There, Sophia whispered, brushing Gavin's hair from his forehead. All better. Can I ask you something? Gavin said quietly. Anything. Why are you so nice to me? His voice was fragile. You barely know me. Sophia cupped his cheeks with both hands. Sweetheart, sometimes when you lose someone you love, it leaves a hole inside you. And every now and then, someone comes along and fills a little bit of that space. You fill the space for me too, Gavin said shyly. You're the nicest person I've ever met. Well, after my dad. Sophia smiled. Your dad is a very good man. Gavin nodded. Yeah, but he's sad. Since he got hurt, he doesn't talk as much. And Vanessa doesn't help. She only cares about his money. Sophia's eyes hardened. What makes you say that? I heard her, talking to someone on the phone. His voice trembled. She said after they get married, she'll send me away, to some school far away. Then she'll get all of Dad's money. Sophia froze. When did you hear this? Yesterday, he whispered. She thought no one was listening. Gavin, you need to tell your dad. But what if he doesn't believe me? What if she convinces him I'm lying? Sophia took his hand. He will believe you, I promise. But she didn't get to say more, because the door burst open. Vanessa stood there. Her eyes were razor-sharp. Gavin, she said coldly. It's bedtime. Vanessa, we were just... I don't care, she snapped at Sophia. Go to your room. Now. Sophia shot Gavin a worried look, but obeyed. The moment the door clicked shut, Vanessa stepped deeper into Gavin's room, her voice dropping to a venomous whisper. You and I need to have a little talk. Gavin pressed back into his pillow. About what? About keeping your mouth shut. I didn't tell her anything, he cried. You're lying. Vanessa leaned close, her words dripping poison. You told that Maid everything. And if you say one more word, just one, I will make your life here miserable. Do you understand? You're mean, Gavin stuttered. You hate me. I hate brats who ruin my plans. Her voice sharpened. Your mother left you because she couldn't handle a broken child like you. My mom died, Gavin whispered, tears streaming. And she died because she couldn't take care of a boy like you, Vanessa spat. The door flew open. Richard stood there. No glasses. No bandages. Eyes blazing. Get away from my son. Vanessa froze, face draining of color. Richard, you can see? Yes, he growled. I can see everything, including what you just said. It's not what you think. Oh, I heard enough. His voice thundered through the room. You insulted my son, threatened him, told him his mother abandoned him. How dare you? Richard, please. Get out of my house, he roared. Right now. Richard. If you don't leave, I will call the police. Move. Vanessa backed away, shaking. You'll regret this, she hissed, trembling with rage. No, Richard said coldly. The only thing I regret is ever letting you near my family. She stormed out, heels clacking angrily down the hall. Richard knelt beside Gavin and pulled him close. I'm sorry, champ. I'm so sorry I let her hurt you. You could see the whole time? Gavin asked through tears. Yes, Richard said softly. But I was blind in another way. Blind to the things that really mattered. Gavin sniffed. Sophia said you'd believe me. Richard smiled weakly. She's a good judge of character. Outside the door, Sophia stood pressed against the wall, tears in her eyes. She had heard everything. Relief, fear, hope, confusion, all tangled inside her. Everything had changed, and the story was only beginning. The Montgomery ranch woke to a different air. Lighter, calmer, finally free of Vanessa's presence. Her perfume still lingered in the halls, but the woman herself had packed her bags and vanished before sunrise. But Richard knew one thing. Vanessa Montgomery was not done, and she was far too dangerous to underestimate. He stood in his office overlooking the ranch's open fields when a soft knock came. Come in, he said. Sophia entered with a tray and a hesitant smile. Coffee, Mr. Montgomery. He turned and met her eyes. Sophia. You can call me Richard. She froze. I'm not sure that's appropriate, sir. It is, he insisted gently. After everything you've done. She set the tray on his desk. I didn't do anything special. You cared for my son, Richard said. You showed him love that no one asked you to show. You stayed by him when things got dark. Sophia's cheeks warmed. Any mother would have done the same. But you're not his mother, and you still loved him like one. Sophia looked down. Gavin is special. He thinks the same about you, Richard said softly. She swallowed hard. Sir, I don't know what any of this means now. Vanessa is gone. You're not blind. I don't know if you still want me working here. I want you here, Richard said quietly. For Gavin. For me. Not as staff, but as part of this family. Sophia's breath hitched. Before she could respond, Gavin rolled into the office with excitement brightening his face. Dad. Sophia. He beamed. Vanessa really left? Yes, champ, Richard said. She's gone. Gavin threw his arms up. Finally, we can be happy again. The three of us. Richard and Sophia both froze. Gavin, Richard said gently. Sophia works here. She has her own life. But she can stay, Gavin insisted. She will, right, Sophia? Won't you stay with us? Sophia knelt in front of him, taking his hands. I'm not going anywhere, sweetheart. I promise. Gavin smiled so wide Richard felt his heart twist. Sophia's tenderness was something he didn't know he needed until the moment he saw it. Something he feared he might lose. Vanessa sat in an upscale cafe downtown, red-eyed with anger, stirring her untouched latte. Across from her sat her closest friend, Patricia, a woman with sharp eyeliner and even sharper instincts. He kicked me out, Vanessa spat. After everything I invested in him. Patricia sighed. You were sloppy. I warned you about the boy. That brat ruined everything, Vanessa snapped. And that Maid Sophia. She poisoned them against me. Patricia leaned forward. Is she still there? Yes, Vanessa hissed. Richard kept her. Then you haven't lost yet. Vanessa blinked. What do you mean? Men like Richard, Patricia smirked, fall for women who look innocent, sweet, fragile. All you need to do is destroy her image, ruin her reputation, make Richard think she's after his money. Vanessa's eyes flickered with wicked hope. And how do I do that? Patricia smiled darkly. Leave that to me. The following days brought a fragile peace to the Montgomery ranch. Without Vanessa's presence poisoning the air, the house felt warmer, lighter, almost alive again. But beneath that new calm, Richard sensed a shadow forming, an instinct born from years of dealing with ruthless business competitors. Vanessa wasn't finished. He could feel it. Still, for Gavin's sake, he kept a smile on his face. And Sophia? She kept the ranch running with quiet grace, cooking meals, tutoring Gavin, and filling every room she stepped into with kindness. But peace never lasts long. 3 days after Vanessa's departure, the ranch doorbell rang. A tall man in a dark suit stood on the porch, holding a leather briefcase. "Morning," he said. "Name's Julian Carter. I'm a private investigator hired by Ms. Vanessa Hale." Richard's stomach tightened. "About what?" "About your employee, Sophia Reyes." Julian flipped open a file. "Ms. Hale is accusing her of theft." Richard's heart dropped. Sophia emerged from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel. "Theft? I've never stolen anything." Julian shrugged. According to Ms. Hale, several expensive items disappeared from her room before she left. Jewelry, cash. She believes your housekeeper took them. "That's ridiculous," Sophia said, voice shaking. Julian nodded politely. "I still need to search her room. Standard procedure." Richard clenched his jaw. He could refuse, but then Vanessa would spin that refusal into guilt. And the investigator was licensed. Legitimate. Skilled. "Fine," Richard said. "But I'm going with you." They walked to Sophia's small room. She stood in the doorway, trembling, hands clasped tightly. "Please," she whispered. "I didn't take anything." Julian searched carefully. Closet, drawers, nightstand, under the bed. Nothing. But then, he opened her dresser and pulled out a velvet jewelry box. Inside lay a gleaming diamond necklace, one Richard recognized instantly. Vanessa's. Sophia's eyes went wide. "That's not mine. I've never even seen that." "Aha," Julian said, writing notes. "Ms. Hale said this piece was missing." "My God," Sophia gasped. "Someone planted it." Richard felt a surge of anger, not at Sophia, but at Vanessa. This was sabotage. Planned. Precise. Cruel. Julian snapped photos. "This will need to go to the county sheriff. Ms. Reyes may be required for questioning." Sophia's knees buckled. "Richard, please. You have to believe me." He grabbed her shoulders firmly. "Sophia, look at me. I do believe you." She trembled in his arms. "I swear, I would never hurt you or Gavin. Never." "I know," Richard said. "I've suspected Vanessa would try something like this." Julian cleared his throat. "Mr. Montgomery, until the sheriff reviews everything, Ms. Reyes must stay on the property. No travel." Sophia nodded numbly. When Julian left, she sank onto her bed, tears spilling. Richard knelt beside her. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I didn't want to bring trouble into your home." "You didn't," Richard said firmly. "Vanessa brought this, and I'm going to prove it." The ranch workers whispered behind Sophia's back. Accusations spread. Some avoided her. Others didn't hide their suspicion. Every rumor stabbed at her heart. Gavin noticed. Every night, he held her hand and whispered, "I know you didn't steal anything. I know." Richard tried to act normal, but Sophia felt a distance growing, fear, perhaps, hesitation. She hated it. On the 7th night, Richard found her sitting alone by the back porch, hugging her knees. "Mind if I sit?" Sophia shook her head. He lowered himself beside her. The Texas night sky stretched black and endless above them. "I talked to Dr. Harris," he said. "He's checking into that investigator. Something feels off." Sophia nodded weakly. "You're innocent," Richard said. "And I'm going to prove it." Sophia's voice cracked. "Richard, what if this ruins everything you've built? What if Vanessa destroys me? Destroys us, before I can clear my name?" He reached over and took her hand. "She won't," he whispered. "I won't let her." Sophia's eyes met his. Why do you care so much?" Richard hesitated. then spoke the truth. Because losing you scares me more than anything Vanessa could do. Sophia's breath caught. Richard. But before she could say more, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered hesitantly. Hello. The voice on the other end sent chills down her spine. Well, housekeeper girl. How does it feel to have your little world falling apart? Vanessa. Sophia's hand shook. What do you want? To warn you, Vanessa purred. You see, I'm not done. Not even close. I plan to make Richard hate you. Make everyone think you're trash. I'll ruin you, sweetheart. Sophia trembled. And when he throws you out, Vanessa continued, maybe I'll come back. Maybe he'll realize only I am worthy to stand by his side. You're sick, Sophia whispered. And you're finished, Vanessa spat. Click. The line went dead. Sophia stared at her phone in horror. Richard saw the look on her face. What did she say? Sophia looked up at him, voice trembling. She's coming for us, Richard. She wants to destroy me. Destroy everything. Richard pulled her into his arms. Let her try, he said. She has no idea who she's dealing with. But deep inside he knew. The storm was only beginning. The storm Vanessa promised arrived sooner than expected. 2 mornings later, Richard woke to frantic knocking on his office door. It was Dr. Harris, holding a folder with a tense expression. Richard, we found something, he said, stepping inside. What is it? About Julian, the investigator Vanessa hired. Dr. Harris lowered his voice. He's licensed, but he has a history of taking under-the-table jobs. And guess who was seen meeting him in Dallas last week? Patricia, Richard said immediately. Dr. Harris nodded. The two of them planned something. I don't think that necklace appeared in Sophia's room by accident. Richard clenched his fists. I knew it. He grabbed his phone. It's time to end this. Richard called Vanessa. She answered on the first ring, smugness dripping from her voice. Well, Richard Montgomery. Finally realized you made a mistake kicking me out. I want to talk, he said dryly. About Sophia. Vanessa's tone shifted, cautious excitement. What about her? You were right, Richard said, injecting just enough emotion to sell the lie. She fooled me. She stole more than I thought. Vanessa smirked on the other end. I knew it. I warned you. I want you to come back to the ranch tomorrow, he continued. We can talk about us and deal with her together. Vanessa inhaled sharply. You mean it? Yes. Oh, Richard, she breathed. I'll be there. He hung up. Sophia, who had been quietly standing by the doorway, stared at him. Richard, what did you just do? The only thing left, he said. Set the trap. Vanessa arrived dressed like she owned the place. Hair perfect, heels sharp, wearing a bright smile she thought was irresistible. Richard met her in the living room. Richard, she gushed, stepping forward to hug him. He stepped back. A flicker of confusion crossed her face. You said you wanted to talk about us. We will, Richard said, after you answer a question. She blinked. Okay? Why did you and Patricia plant stolen jewelry in Sophia's room? Vanessa froze. Her smile cracked. What? Richard crossed his arms. Why did you frame her? I didn't. Stop. His voice cut like steel. I know everything. Vanessa's hands trembled. This is some trick. You can't. Dr. Harris stepped in from behind her, followed by Sheriff Dalton, 2 deputies, and Patricia, handcuffed. Vanessa's eyes widened in horror. What is this? Patricia. Why are you here? Patricia glared coldly. He tricked me, Vanessa. Sheriff Dalton snapped open a recording device. A familiar voice filled the room. Patricia's. I helped Vanessa plant the necklace. We made a copy of the backroom key so we could sneak in. And Julian was paid to discover the evidence. Richard will fall right into the trap. Vanessa's face drained of color. No, Patricia. What did you do? I told you not to drag me into your mess. Patricia spat. But you didn't listen. Vanessa's chest heaved. Richard, please, Listen to me. You threatened my son, he said coldly. You tried to break a woman who has done nothing but protect this family. And you underestimated me. The sheriff stepped forward. Vanessa Hale, you're under arrest for conspiracy, falsifying evidence, harassment, and attempted extortion. No, Richard, please, don't do this. Vanessa cried as the deputies grabbed her arms. Richard didn't flinch. Take her away. Vanessa screamed, kicked, begged, but it didn't matter. She was dragged out the door, her once perfect world collapsing behind her. Patricia followed, silent and defeated. And just like that, the nightmare was over. Sophia stood outside on the porch, shaking with relief. Richard approached her slowly. It's done, he said gently. Sophia exhaled, tears slipping down her cheeks. I can't believe. It's finally over. Richard wiped a tear from her face. You're safe now. Gavin is safe. And this home is yours as long as you want it. Sophia's heart fluttered. Richard, I don't know if I deserve all this. He took her hands. You deserve everything good that's ever happened to you. Everything Vanessa tried to steal from you. She swallowed, staring into his eyes. I was so scared, Richard. Scared of losing Gavin. Losing you. You won't lose us, he whispered. Their foreheads touched. And then softly, gently, he kissed her. For a moment the world went still. The ranch, the sky, the wind, everything paused. Just for them. When they pulled apart, Gavin rolled onto the porch with a giant smile. Are you two finally in love now? Richard and Sophia laughed, blushing. Richard knelt beside his son. What do you think, champ? I think Sophia should stay forever, Gavin declared proudly. I want her in our family. Sophia knelt beside him. Sweetheart, I would love that, more than anything. Gavin flung his arms around her, and Richard joined the embrace, wrapping them both tightly. A real family. Finally, the Montgomery ranch thrived again. Happier, brighter, filled with life. Sophia and Richard were now married in a simple ceremony under the oak trees. Gavin was the ring bearer, wearing a tiny suit and the biggest smile Texas had ever seen. Sophia's mother, now healthy thanks to Richard covering her medical care, cried tears of joy through the entire ceremony. And Gavin? He finally had what he always wished for. A mother who loved him, a father who cherished him, a home full of peace. One golden afternoon, the three of them sat together on the porch swing. Gavin held a drawing in his lap. Sophia unfolded it. It showed 3 stick figures, Richard, Sophia, and Gavin, holding hands beneath a bright sun, with a big heart drawn around them. Below it, in wobbly handwriting, My family. Tears filled Sophia's eyes. Richard kissed her forehead. Gavin beamed. And for the first time in a long, long time, the Montgomery ranch felt whole.